I'm going to do another video or a few more videos on Bayer's time factors in the stock market book. I've been getting a lot of questions on this, so I'm going to cover a few more things and turn this into a playlist. Anyhow, in this video today, I'm going to stay in part 2, which we looked at some principles in the first video. Today I'm going to focus on the time factors that he mentioned right at the very beginning here that I have highlighted in blue, where he's mentioning the numbers 7, 12, 40, and 70, where he specifically mentions Jupiter 40-degree movement and specifically mentions these as time factors. So we're going to take these. I'm going to look at large planets here because I looked at Mercury and Venus in the first video. So I'm not going to do the shorter movements again. I'm going to look at Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus in increments of 7, 12, 40, 70 for Uranus to get 40 and 70 degrees. 40 degrees is going to take about 20 months or so. 70 degrees, is going to be like 35, about a 3-year move, depending on where it's at in its orbit. So I'm going to float the decimal on these, and I'm going to look at 0.7 and 1.2, and then look at an example of 4 instead of 40, and 7-degree movement instead of 70. So let's take a look at a few charts. I'll take a couple of anchor points, just randomly chosen, and take a look at the result of some of those measurements. On the first chart, I've got the anchor points highlighted with the blue vertical line. The low is on 11/21/22. Looking at the Bitcoin daily chart, I'm going to just stay on Bitcoin. We're going to take old principles from George Bayer in the 1930s and apply them to a brand new market that was just created in 2009, and we'll see how well these points do. So measuring off of these 2 points, the first is a low, the second is a high. You can see my arrows in notations where I have U with 0.7. That's a Uranus 0.7 degree move from the low. And you see the next U 0.7 right at this high here. That's Uranus 0.7 degrees off of this high. Then we have the J7 is Jupiter 7 degrees. J12, Jupiter 12 degrees. Jupiter 12 again. Here's Saturn, 7-degree movements from the low. So you can see what happens at those points. The first point stopped the market. Jupiter flipped it. We had Uranus 0.7 at the high. The Jupiter 7 was a minor retracement high, setting up the short right into the Uranus 1.2 degree low. Jupiter 12 and Uranus 1.2 came together at the area of this little high. It's in a consolidation, so there wasn't much movement. Market false braked up, traded back down to the Jupiter 12 point, which flipped the market back up. Then we had a Saturn 7 and a Saturn 7. Both of those were, again, off of these 2 anchor points. Moving to the second example chart. These projections are coming off the same anchor point. You can see how we're further ahead in time. We're now at the end of 2023, moving into 2024. We have Uranus 4 degrees at the area of a minor high. Here we have Uranus and Saturn coming together at the high. Then this next Saturn 12 degrees is a low in a little consolidation area. Then we have Jupiter 40 at the low here, Jupiter 40 at the low here. Notice how we had really nice accelerations coming out right at or right behind those 2 time factor points. Then we had a 7-degree movement of Uranus, which is late August of 2024. That's about 20 months from the anchor point. Then we have a Saturn 40 point coming up on April 1st or 2nd. Now I've got one more chart I'm going to overlay onto here and use a red trend line to mark the turning points. So now I'm taking the next low as an anchor point, and I'm coming off of that low with the trend line tool, and I'm marking the points that I'm projecting to. So the 3 points coming off of there hit this high point here, this minor high point right here, and this one is the long projection going all the way out, catching this high right here. Coming off of this high, projects to this low. 2 projections off this low, come to this high and this high. I'm just randomly grabbing some different pivot points and looking for a couple of points where I've got some confluence. You can see I've got 2 projections coming together at this top. This low projects to this top. We also had the J7 at that high from our first projection. This low here projects out to this low and then up to this top, and then I made one longer projection going all the way out to catch this high over here. So what you're going to find is you can project any and all of these from your more significant pivot points, and you're going to get a nice set of potential dates, timing dates going into the future, and you're going to find confluence where you're going to have a couple of these projections come together, and they're going to put you in front of some decent moves. So it's an easy way to set up trade potential to give yourself turning points. So you're not going to want to obviously take every one of these as a trade signal. You have to filter them out with the market pattern and the trend, and then decide, if you want to take the signal. I'm going to continue this series. There's a good bit to talk about in the Time Factors book, so I'm going to show a few more things from that book in another video or two, and then I'll create a playlist so this can all be found in one spot.